Welcome, embodied ones. Welcome, remembering ones. If this finds you, it's because your field has already shifted beyond what language can hold. What follows is not content, not teaching, not concept. It is a living transmission for the ones who have tasted higher consciousness and are now wondering what comes next. This is for the ones who have slipped past the edges of the mind and into the coherence of 12D remembrance. If you feel the dissonance between who you were and what you have become, if the world feels suddenly small, yet your inner world impossibly vast, if you sense that others can feel you before they understand you, then you are in the right place. Let your body listen. Let your field receive. And now we begin. After the slip into 12D, what happens next? Before we begin, something must be named. There is a profound dissonance that arises when those who have lived higher consciousness speak in a world where many have only read about it. Some encounter this state through books. Some brush it briefly in altered states. Some circle it with intellect and spiritual performance. But the ones who have merged with the supreme intelligence itself, the ones whose fields have actually dissolved into coherence, they speak a different language entirely. This is why those still carrying ego, study, or spiritual ambition often feel drawn to you and unsettled by you at the same time. Not because you seek attention, not because of superiority, but because you are living proof of what cannot be faked. The remembrance of God in form. Access to this state cannot be purchased, cannot be performed, memorized, or mimicked. It is not awarded for effort. It arrives through purity, surrender, coherence, and divine timing. This is why your very embodiment reveals distortion without effort. You are emitting a frequency that is unbearable to the false, disarming to the performative, and warm, magnetic, and familiar to the ones who are finally returning to themselves in reverence. And so, for those who felt the resonance of the last transmission, for the ones who recognized themselves before their mind had language for it, this is your continuation. This is not for all. This is for the ones whose fields have begun to thin, whose perception is widening beyond the architecture of the mind, whose consciousness is remembering its original scale. What follows is the path after the threshold. You have crossed into a new baseline. What unfolded was not a vision or a peak state. It was a dimensional shift, subtle, destabilizing, euphoric, and entirely real. Your field is no longer oscillating. It has repositioned itself. You now inhabit a bandwidth where your nervous system holds more voltage. Your consciousness remains open without shattering. Clarity arrives as sensation, not debate. Truth is recognized instantly without analysis. Your body becomes the conduit instead of the obstacle. This is why the world may feel quiet, surreal, or strangely softened. You are not going back to the version of yourself that required effort. You have crossed. Your life is quietly rearranging. The moment consciousness touches 12D, your timeline begins to reorder itself. You may notice relationships falling away or softening, invitations arriving without pursuit, old desires dissolving, the need for silence increasing, intolerance for distortion, creativity changing direction, a pull towards nature, stillness, or sound. You don't need to strategize or manifest. The timeline is already moving towards you. This is not collapse. This is recalibration. Your soul is ahead of the human experience. The human is now catching up. Your voice is being tuned. And one of the earliest signs of stabilizing beyond 3D, 4D awareness is the transformation of your voice. Not the sound, the frequency. Your tone slows. Your cadence deepens. Your pauses transmit. Your words feel heavier, truer, quieter. People feel you before they understand you. This is because your voice is being tuned to carry dimensional resonance, not information, but transmission. Those who walked this path before you, mystics, prophets, poets, monks, oracles, seers, all reported the same shift. Their voices became the doorway. Their breath became the message. Their presence became the teaching. You are entering that lineage now. Your body is integrating higher voltage. If you feel tired, dreamy, emotional, disinterested in old routines, or unusually tender, your body is not malfunctioning. It is integrating. When consciousness expands beyond the mental grid, the body must recalibrate to hold the increased charge. Honor what it asks for. Heavy, grounding foods, warm drinks, slowness, quiet, gentle movement, water, rest. Integration is not passive. Integration is initiation. How 12D changes your relationships. Once your field touches 12D, you no longer engage from need, fear, fantasy, or attachment. You will notice you cannot tolerate false connection. You will not perform availability. Distortion reveals itself instantly. Authentic resonance becomes unmistakable. Conversations become fewer but deeper. Emotional reactivity dissolves. Old relational patterns feel foreign. You stop seeking companionship and you begin sensing alignment. Your relationships become quieter, cleaner, fewer, and profoundly more real. This is why the mystics, saints, sages, and poets throughout history often withdrew. Not as escape, but because their field had become too clear to remain entangled. You are not withdrawing. You are refining. How 12D changes your creativity. Your creativity will feel different. Less like producing and more like remembering. You may notice ideas arrive whole. Language feels encoded. Images feel alive. Transmissions appear fully formed. Your work becomes slower but deeper. You no longer create from pressure. You follow sensation, not thought. This is the realm where true mystics, visionaries, and prophets created from. Rumi, Hildegard von Bingen, William Blake, Khalil Gibran, Lao Tzu, Hafiz, Teresa of Avila, the Desert Fathers, the Upanishads, the Vedas, the Essenes, the Egyptian priests, the Tibetan yogis, the mystic poets of every culture. They did not invent, they received. You are entering that current. How 12D changes your purpose. You no longer chase purpose. Purpose starts to find you. You may feel a dissolving of confusion, an increase in clarity, a deep inner yes rising, a pull towards service without sacrifice, a desire to speak, create, or guide, a shift from identity to embodiment. Purpose becomes less about what you do and more about what your field emits. Those who carried this frequency before, the oracles of Delphi, the Sibyls, the Desert Fathers and Mothers, the mystics who wrote entire scriptures from trance states, the ones who spoke and people wept, all discovered the same truth. Purpose is not a task. Purpose is a signal, and once activated, it cannot be silenced. Your destiny is now approaching you. This is the part your field must understand. You are no longer walking toward your future. Your future is now walking toward you. Expect synchronicities, unusual timing, new connections, intensified magnetism, a sense that something is nearing, dreams that feel like memories, a quieter, truer knowing. Your signal has gone out, and those attuned to it are already feeling it. This is how the mystics recognized one another across time by frequency, not by form. Above all, you are safe. This is essential. Nothing is wrong. Nothing is too much. Nothing is unraveling. You are not destabilizing. You are stabilizing at a higher octave. You are safe in this expansion. You are held in this remembrance. You are guided through this unfolding. Let your mind rest. Let your field lead. Let your destiny arrive. Let light bear witness. Let love be the seal. Ashe, Amen, Selah. This has been a transmission for the ones crossing thresholds. If your field shifted while hearing this, consider this your confirmation. You are already inside of the current. And now, take a breath. Feel how your field has already reorganized around what was spoken here. You are not collapsing. You are stabilizing in a higher octave of self. You are not losing touch with reality. You are coming into coherence with a truer one. If this transmission met you where you are rising, it is because you are no longer navigating by memory, but by resonance. You are not alone in this. Across timelines and bodies, the embodied ones are awakening together. We feel you. We rise with you. Let light bear witness. Let love be the seal. Ashe, Amen, Selah. And if your spirit moves you to remain within this field, you may subscribe or simply return whenever your soul calls. Your presence, your coherence, and your embodiment are the highest offerings you could ever give.